It's almost corn picking time. Got snow on the ground and a little bit of corn out there. And if you followed along with this corn picker, I just bought at auction back in, September? I need to do a few little odds and ends to get it in shape to pick corn. Mostly, one of the big things would be, these slats. My father-in-law was kind enough to, I had some oak. He took it and cut it up, and I was able to find one new slat for him to use as a pattern, and so he made me some new ones. Use a pipe wrench here to turn just a little bit. Get that in the clear. I'm going to replace it with bolts and probably lock nuts. It's got a, turn you here. It's got a skid across this metal, so we don't want anything sticking out, or at least nothing that can't be rounded off. So I'm thinking a panhead 1/4-inch bolt with a lock nut on the other side. Smells like a campfire. I guess I need a punch to, punch on through. But I got the head off that rivet. Is this too big? No. Okay, maybe. Sounds it's a drift one. All right, I'll find another one. Be that way. Oh, come on. You're so close. One more tool. There we go. Yeah, that's the tool I wanted. Rivet, rivet. All right. So if I do this and that'll be the next thing, getting them far enough apart to get them on there without wrecking anything. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I guess I do have one more slat than I need. And I have plenty of wood. Could probably always get another one made. Come on, baby. There it goes. So I'm thinking a bolt like this. So, this is rounded off, but it does have a slot so I can hold it while I tighten up the nut, and a lock nut to keep it from, he did countersink them here a little bit, but a lock nut to keep it from coming loose. And I think, it's going through there. And the thing is it returns on another tray. Is what you have is way inside there are little slots for kernels of corn to fall through, and all the other crud just keeps kind of coming out and falls on the ground. And then when these slats return, the corn that's falling through those holes goes over to the elevator that takes it up to the wagon. So that's rubbing against the surface there. So you don't want anything that's going to catch. See, it looks like a 1/4-inch bolt will go through the metal part. But I think I need to go a little bit bigger on the wood. Well, let's just try one that's not in there. That goes through there. And that screw ain't long enough, but that tells us what we need to know there. And that goes through fine. Well, isn't that interesting? It's countersunk nice. That's gonna work good. Yeah, this slat didn't get quite drilled out enough or something. All right, we can fix that. Now let's try it. All right, let's see what kind of length we need. More than this. Let's see. I know this is a regular headed bolt, but I'm just checking for length. Let's try on the other side. I think this length is going to be good. I won't need a flat washer with a carriage hub or a truss head bolt. Come on. And not a lock nut, but doubles as one. It would still probably be smart to get, like I say, a truss head screw to put in there, just so it skips over easier. And I want the truss head on the other side, because that's the side that's got the bigger slots. It's pretty fine grating on the other side, so less likely to catch. And then maybe once it's all tightened down, I take the angle grinder and burn off the excess little bit of bolt, smooth it off. I think that'll work. So I know I ain't got this many of these. I'm gonna have to order some. At least I know what to get now. I have a fine selection of bolts coming for those slats. Actually, one selection of bolts and a couple selections of nuts. And I'll just have extras of the others. So while I'm waiting for that stuff to show up, we can replace this belt that drives all that stuff that suffered from such things. You can see it's quite, I don't know why this GoPro seems so dark. But it slipped and chewed and chewed and slipped. And you say, well, we'll just put a new belt on. But let's see, there's a bearing support up there. Nice. And a drive shaft here that's all connected. So somehow or another I have to slip a belt on that this is quality stuff, made in USA. Even got the Oliver part number on it. Genuine old stuff. So anyways, before I distracted myself, yeah, I'm gonna take this shield loose and slide it forward and see what I can do to uncouple that part to get the belt over that sheave. And then the other one shouldn't be too bad. Just drop or take two bolts out and can drop the shaft hopefully enough just to slide that in there. Although, it does get close to another shaft. So, we wouldn't want it to be too easy. We'll try some zip on that bad boy. And then it slides on this coupling here. And then the whole thing can slide like so for, mating up to the tractor. That's why you bring two wrenches. That's why you drop one wrench. Notice the sound of it hitting concrete. You can't get that on just every Oliver channel. Yeah, it's a hex head under there. Let's try it this way. Come on. Dang it. Maybe I need a different wrench. There, see? 9/16 end wrench does work. A little more polishing on that washer. Look at that. Problem solved. How best to do this? Something tells me pulling the shaft out is questionable. You know, honestly, I'm thinking 4 quick hits of a, let's see, I'd have to get past that chain or this belt. That belt wouldn't be bad to remove. Slip it under the gearbox. That might be easier than disconnecting the friddle hammer. There's some kind of pin through that shaft. I thought about taking these 4 bolts off, but I do believe there's a washer here with a nut that I somehow have to get in there and turn. Which sounds like a challenge. As opposed to just impacting 4 bolts loose. So we've got the elevator shut off. That is this one. Probably needs some adjustment. Yeah. But let's see, if I slip it under here, I can get it over there, get it past that bearing before I walk it up on that, loosen this up. I think that's what we're gonna try. Change of plans again. These back 2 bolts are so close to the cast iron, they'll turn, but they're gonna take a wrench to hold them. And that just looks like a pain in the butt. So I think we're going back with pulling the shaft off the front. It shouldn't be too bad. Those look like 1/2 inch. Let's see how well a, could do it like I did before. How well a 9/16 fits. Well, they're 9/16. And once again, you know, power tools ain't gonna fit in there. One of those, huh? Oh, I grabbed the 1/2 inch end wrench. They are 1/2 inch. No wonder I couldn't get this to fit on that bolt. I had a 9/16 and a half and not 2 9/16. Embarrassing. And that inner nut's gonna, castle nut in there is gonna be a bear. Not impossible, but pain in the butt. Well, with a ratchet end wrench, it might not. All right. Guess I need to grab a couple more wrenches. Someone had that cotter pin in. Crooked wise. I think. old grease and dirt, contaminating my crime scene. You're probably getting a great view of my gloves right about now. Someone was pretty clever getting that cotter pin in there with it off a quarter of a turn like it is. Oh, she's starting to go. There we go. Feel my might, or wrath or something. Oh, look at me screwing up again. Trying to use a 9/16 on a 1/2 inch. I'll set them up here somewhere high where they can get knocked off and fall all over. Gotta say, it turns pretty easy without that cleaning, husking bed, whatever, slats hooked up. I say that. I may also be going backwards. And that bolt was hitting something. Oh yeah, that makes it better. Well, that's turning it the right way. Well, it's looking like these have never been off here before. Could be the original belt. Could be someone did it the other way and either slid the drive shaft off over here, or, you know, I bet if I had a book, it would tell me the official way to do it. Oh, another dead battery. But turning all this, if you've got a 73 and you're wondering what the belt going to the elevator is, B76. B76. I hope you continue enjoying our bingo game. Fortunately, this was the 3/4 that it looked like, and my ratcheting end wrench fit in there. All I got to do is remember to turn it a 1/4 turn so that the cotter pin faces a good way. Well, I should be able to just move this forward, right? This looks like it should pry. It does. Look at that. I was going to go grab another tool and everything. And not approved use. There. I think I can get it by hand from here. Yeah. We'll set that up where it can fall off. And once again, use the, that's a Craftsman. Craftsman primer. I'm gonna pull that PTO shaft forward. Maybe on the front, maybe not. Maybe I'm almost there. I'm at least halfway there. There we go. Oh, it's keyed and not splined. Well, wasn't that just a peach? Yeah, there's the, I guess the spline or the keyway is, you know, the hole for the cotter key is going to be wherever it's going to be. So we are 50% there. Yes, we are halfway there. Everybody break out your Bon Jovi. Some grease there that just makes me want to pick at it. Hey, I grabbed the right size wrenches this time. That's a hex head on the bottom. It's kind of scary that it, you know, the bolt's holding. Oh, maybe it was a carriage bolt. Let's see what this feels like. Maybe they are carriage bolts. That explains it. See how you use this to tighten things up somewhat, align things? I do not know. I don't know why this would be slotted. Those are pretty big slots. There's a belt tensioner. Plus you kick this off, that throws that off, and I don't know. I just work here. Oh, we're supposed to get down in the single digits tomorrow night, or tomorrow, I don't know. It's supposed to be cold. So I'm glad I got that antifreeze changed. Changed? I mean checked. It all checked out good enough. We ain't gonna get anywhere close to 20 below. I'm gonna give these a love tap. And I didn't bring the love tapper. Love tap, baby, love tap. Ham, ham. And then I think I can reach the belt. Okay. These two have to come out so the belt can get by them. Hey, look, the bolt fell out. Went way under the head. Murphy's Law of Mechanicking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, new belt. Please be within reach. Oh, barely. I say new, but new old stock. It's kind of stiff. It's like me in the morning. I mean, it's like me. There is someone at my door. Let's check that out. It was Mrs. Oliver Guy checking the mail. Gotta say, I like those Ring doorbells. Where was I? Seeing about trying to slip this belt past that bearing, over the river, through the woods. Well, first thing we need to do is slip the old one out. I could just cut it, but you know, this is my proof of concept that this belt will, you know, if it comes out, the new one should go in. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, we have a liberated piece of junk. That's in there. Now I just got the fun task of climbing under and getting those bolts back. At least it's concrete and heated. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Oh, just yeah. Oh, look. Everywhere. Well, we'll worry about that later. So that was those shivs falling off the gearbox. And I'd like to say that Oliver was smart enough to make the shims split. So you didn't have to do everything I'm doing just to change shims. But now, of course, they fall all over and ouch. We'll deal with that in a moment. That bearing felt good. Good enough that I don't want to mess with replacing it. That could get to be quite the endeavor to replace every bearing on this old girl. So of course the obvious solution is to only replace them when they go bad. It pretty much is a toy at this point, but a cool one. There we go. We're halfway back. Well, in retrospect, I did not have to take this shiv off. I just had to take that single nut off and slide the whole thing out. I'm sure it would have said that in the book. But now we get to see, you know, how it works. And here's the shims. We got 6 total. They're split. You can see this is already riding pretty low. By splitting it apart, the belt runs lower in there and that slows things down. I'm good with that. Speed kills. Drive a Ford and live forever. So I think, rather than trying to work right up there like by the gearbox like I did, I'll put it back on the shaft, and then I can just slide it on and get the belt on it before I slide it on the gearbox. Nope. Shims gotta go in between. If you have, you know, if you want to change them out, you can put the shims on the back side, and then they don't make a difference on the spacing, but you know right where they're at if you want to use them in the future. And the bolt length stays the same and all that good stuff. You got a giant hand right in your face. Nope, probably should use both halves. I feel like things will work better if the belt gets rubbed on both sides. I was thinking there was a hub on the gearbox, I think. I don't know what I was thinking. And that the U-joint would slide out of that hub, and, that the back flange was a hub. I was wrong. Doesn't matter how you slice it. I'll turn this 180 so we can get the other shims in there. Maybe a little more. Let's just, you know, make it so it all falls apart. Makes a mess. Let's see. Yep, that's the opposite side. So we do this. We find the holes. We put bolt in the hole, we put nut on the bolt, and we move along. Yep, way more work than I needed to do. I don't know if I ever mentioned, I've never picked corn. So, you know, I guess corn pickers were pretty much on the way out by the time I was getting involved in anything. Come on, shims. Do your shimmy thing. There's one. We had an 83. I do remember riding on the 1750 with Dad, picking corn and picking corn. We didn't have a lot that last year or two that he picked. I think that was the same year we ended up. We had a 7300 combine at that time. You seeing much of this? And I remember he set up an old swing set to hold up a drag line. And we ran the ear corn out of the cribs into the, there's the keyway, into the 7300, just sat it there stationary, and that was our sheller unit. And emptied that crib out and shelled the corn. It did it. Come on, shim. Are these things directional or something? Someone was not thinking with heat if that's the case. Not that I've been thinking with heat today. Okay, screwdriver. Reach in there and do screwdriver-y things. Two of them are lined up. One still has yet to be. Oh yeah, that's a good feeling. Let's get a nut on it before the feeling goes away. I hope you could see it. Live and learn. Yeah, this way it would have even been possible to get it with the cordless thing. I might. Yeah, I fold. Okay. Well, so much for pointing the hole in a different way, because it's keyed. There's only one way it's going to go on. Let's see. We also want to make sure the belt's in place. Wouldn't that be a shame? Data belt. Oh, smell that old grease. Here we go. Let's slide that forward a little. I said. So I got room to get the nut on the front. That's really a shame about them putting that hole not quite where it needs to be. Look at that, even with gloves on. Okay. Loose enough to not activate the ratchet. Tight enough to make it tough to finger tight it. Either a hair tighter or a hair looser to get that hole to line up. Well, let's try tighter. That might be it. Just a skosh more. Still not. I guess we go a little bit looser. Or do we pull it off and put a lock washer behind it, get it stepped out a little farther? Of course, then it's going to be hard to put a wrench on it. Once again, let's go more. I think that's going to work. I decided rather than trying to finagle a cotter pin into there with that castle nut, I'd put a nylon lock nut in there. Nice fit, and it does the job. Instead of, could have drilled a new hole. That weakens the shaft. It just, it wasn't gonna happen. So then, we need to loosen this up. We probably need one more. Yep. I got thinking about it. I know why that one shaft can slide. I'm like, why does that slide? Because you could also put a chiller unit on this picker. And I'm guessing that shaft might be in a slightly different place. Okay, it's probably easier to walk it on the big one first. Or I mean second, because this one's got the deep groove. Alright. Or I got it on the wrong spot.
Mamma mia!
Oh yeah. Snag my shoe. Well, that stretched things. Let's go this way. Hey, that should turn better. I'll hit that grease zerk on that U-joint before I put the shield back on. And then, you know, put shield back on. I wonder about the slider on this. Oh, look at that. Yep, I can hit that too while this shield is loose. Oh man, I got another calcium. I bet it'll blow back up. That's probably like a, you know, a K1. It's in the shop where it's easy to work on. Well, it took a while for my bolts to come in, and I need to get this video put together for your viewing pleasure. So I guess putting slats in will have to be part 2. But other than that, it seems to be going along good. And let's see, belts in. I'll have to put this chain back on once I got the conveyor slat stuff done. This belt's good. Yeah, there's that. Turns over good by hand, just, you know, turning stuff without that hooked up. So I think it's going to run good once we get that stuff taken care of. But in the meantime, hope you enjoyed what you saw, and also hope to see you in the next one.